Hi, and welcome back to Wicked Wands Tarot. My name is Carmen, and today we've got a reading for you about someone from your past, not necessarily an ex, but could be, for example, a family member. I do feel like there was some issue or some misunderstanding, perhaps even a miscommunication. And when you're able to revisit this, when you're able to have a conversation or ask a question that you've been wanting to get the answers to for a long time, it's a turning point for you. There's an ability to have closure or let something go, see perhaps someone in a different light. Maybe you assumed that something was worse than it was, or that someone did something that they didn't. Or maybe you just find out that you can forgive somebody once you know what the actual truth was. Let's call in spirit with a little bit of wind chanting. And I hope you're having a wonderful day. I hope you have some nice weather. If you would like a personal reading, my email address is wickedwandstarot@gmail.com. It's also in the description box below, as is my second channel. I haven't uploaded anything on there for a long time, but it's not, well, it's me reading books, so it's not as timely as tarot. But also just launched memberships about a month ago, so feel free to check those out as well. Let's dive in. We're going to start with the Star Trek Tarot. What else do we have? Oh, and quick reminder for the members that are at the Stars and the Towers tier, we have a live stream for you all at 1 p.m. Central, which is just over an hour from now. Hello, Upper Echelon. How are you doing? We have the Chariot, the Seven of Cups or Seven of Starships in the reverse, and the Three of Starships or the Three of Cups. I think you're going to see somebody that you have not seen for a while. You may be taking a trip, or they may be tripping towards you. Hello. This is maybe an unexpected visit, but it's one that brings clarity. The Seven of Cups is in the reverse, or the Seven of Starships is in the reverse, because whatever those questions were, or whatever that illusion was, it gets cleared up. This conversation changes that. For some of you, it has to do with somebody who's passed away and what they did, said, or what their intentions were. And when they were alive, you thought they were different. Hello, Archetype. How are you doing? Now we just need a trace. Page of Cloaks or Page of Wands in the reverse. Yeah, I feel like this is something that happened when you were much younger. And you had a memory of something that did not have all the details. Is a betrayal or an ending of some sort. It could be if your parents got divorced when you were younger, what the details were surrounding that divorce. It could be if there was a huge fight in the family because of a disagreement over an inheritance, that you only knew that you were supposed to hate your cousins, but you didn't know why. There's something here that you're finding out the nitty-gritty details on, and it helps you to see somebody in a different light that I feel you may have kind of blamed for this situation back then. It was more complicated than you were led to believe, or, key pieces of information were not provided to you because I think you were younger. That Page of Batless or Page of Swords, very much so an indicator of youth. But I also feel like it's kind of making me think you saw something. You witnessed people arguing, or maybe even saw somebody pass away, saw somebody arguing over, how to handle a situation in the family. Hanged Man in the reverse. Page of Latinum in the reverse, and the Queen of Cloaks in the reverse. So we've gotten 3 of the 4 pages. Interesting. There's a sacrifice that somebody made you did not know about. I think there's someone that you thought was a bit selfish, or you didn't understand why they made the decision that they made, or this is somebody who let you blame them the rest of their life, and now you find out that they made that decision for a reason to like protect you. Kind of I mean, at this point, I don't know if there's really spoilers in the Harry Potter situation, but kind of giving like a little bit of Snape vibes. The Hermit. The Queen of Batlets, or the Queen of Swords. And the 8 of Cloaks in the reverse, which is the 8 of Wands in the reverse. I think you have grown up with a misunderstanding, a misrepresentation of why somebody did something. Maybe a parent that you lived with wanted you to hate the other parent, so they told you things that weren't exactly fair just so that you would be on their side. There's a part of the story that gets shared with you, and it changes your perspective on the Hermit. The Hermit is likely somebody that has passed away, or somebody who is maybe not doing so great health-wise right now. Not for all of you, but for some of you, I feel like there's a throat issue. Like that's what was really difficult for them, like breathing wise or something. But throat chakra is also about communication. Maybe they didn't tell you something that they should have. Maybe they were okay with you hating them if that meant, you know, things were less complicated. But it's like you understand now that somebody was trying to do something for your benefit. This is the Cat's Woolly Earth. The Moon in the reverse. 6 of Pentacles in the reverse, and the Page of Swords in the reverse. Lots of references to childhood. Lots of references to messaging, how somebody tells you about what happened, especially if you're at an impressionable enough age where you don't necessarily have that ability to understand the subtext, right? Or the context. I feel like there was a change in money. Maybe a divorce caused circumstances regarding your living situation to change. Maybe somebody was accused of stealing something, but I feel like whoever told you what happened with this betrayal or this traumatic event, they did not give you all the information. They wanted to make it sound like somebody had bad intentions, or they didn't want you to see that this was somebody's good intentions. Justice in the reverse. 6 of Cups in the reverse. And Death. I think someone took a secret to their grave. And a difficult memory from your childhood is being clarified for you as an adult. Acknowledging, or I guess discovering, that this Hermit individual, someone who's definitely older than you, that I feel you respected at one time, but then your opinion drastically changed, or you were influenced to believe this person was no longer good. You were made to believe that this person was responsible for something that they weren't, or that their intentions were something that they weren't. We have the Magician. We continue to get pages in the reverse. Page of Wands in the reverse. So we've gotten Page of Wands in the reverse twice. We've gotten Page of Swords in the upright and the reverse. We've gotten the Page of Pentacles in the reverse. So you just need the Page of Cups, really. And then we have the Queen of Cups. There's someone here who loved you or wanted to protect you or do something right by you. And whatever this action was, or whatever the legacy was regarding this person, it was edited. They were made to be the bad person. 3 of Wands, 8 of Swords in the reverse, 6 of Wands in the reverse. But now it's like there's a third party, someone else who knows the truth. It could be, for some of you, an older sibling, or, aunt or uncle. Maybe even the spouse, the new spouse of your parent. But we've got somebody here who they feel that they need to tell you something. They feel you deserve to know that somebody was actually acting in your best interest. This could be about whether or not there was an attempt to be in communication, but they were blocked by one of your parents. And I think it's going to be kind of some mixed emotions that you get from this, because it's not easy to process. Hello, Laura. Hello, Hunter. How are you doing? What else do we have? Two of Candles or the Two of Wands, the 6 of Potions or 6 of Cups, the Magician in the reverse, and the Knight of Lightning in the reverse. There's someone here who lied to you about what somebody else did or what their intentions were. I feel like it's the Queen of Cups. Someone who is otherwise quite kind, quite loving to you, but they wanted you to believe something about somebody that wasn't true. So this Two of Candles, it feels to me like an illumination on another side of the story. So something that happened in your childhood with the 6 of Cups, and here's someone else's perspective. Here's somebody else's side of the story. Maybe you get a letter that somebody wrote you years before. It doesn't even have to be an in-person conversation. The Magician in the reverse is manipulation, and the Knight of Lightning or the Knight of Swords in the reverse is controlling the narrative. I want to tell you how to think about this person or tell you how to view this situation, either because I don't want to be held responsible or because I really want you not to like that person because I don't like them either. But Queen of Cups tells me that this is somebody that has otherwise been pretty good to you. A good sibling, a loving parent, a kind grandparent, whatever it is, they were good to you, but they lied to you about this. Were they perfect? No, nobody's perfect. But kind of like you have an update in terms of how you view two people. One person's stock rises and another one fails a little bit or falls a little bit because they lied to you about this person. Oh, come on now. All right. Ace of Potions in the reverse. The Hierophant. And the Queen of Potions or the Queen of Cups in the reverse. I just want to send you a big hug because for some of you, whatever this manipulation of the story was, it made you doubt or question if somebody actually loved or cared about you. And that's really unfortunate. We've got the Hierophant, and I feel like this is about morals, principles, and obligations, secrets, even. This Queen of Cups or Queen of Potions in the reverse is perhaps another reference to manipulation, but I feel like this is our hermit individual, someone that you felt didn't love you. You're getting an update on them and hearing that they did something quite loving for you. You're hearing that maybe you had a little bit of the wrong impression. Hello, Carrie. How are you doing? I'm sure you're going to find out the truth. What else do we have? Six of Lightning or Six of Swords in the reverse. And the High Priestess. This is a secret around a traumatic childhood event, some sort of upheaval, or you had to get up and move in the middle of the night, or there was a big argument or a divorce. And now you're being told the story that you weren't told. Ten of Potions or Ten of Cups in the reverse, and the Knight of Pumpkins or Knight of Pentacles in the reverse. I feel like this had something to do with a change of address or a very significant change in your like domestic routine. So this is not like the same kind of situation, but just as, I don't know, a little bit of an example. There's one night in my mind as, I don't know, I think I was maybe like 3 or 4, probably 4, that it's just like burned in my mind where my mom fell and hit her head. And she'd apparently been low on iron. And I remember being really worried, not really knowing what was going on. Everything was rushing. I had been asleep, and then all of a sudden I was in the car. It was the middle of the night. I wasn't used to being in the car at that time of day, night. And then we had to sit in the doctor's office for like hours while they checked on my mom. My dad was nervous. He was worried about her, but also had to take care of, kids. And it was not like traumatic because like my mom ended up being just fine, but it was very unusual. And it's like in my mind because it was unusual. It's like that, but I feel more of an issue, right? Like you had to move after that, or you never saw someone again. And this is like something that has bothered you, something that has always been a thought, right? But it led to some kind of fracture or tension or ending within a family or living situation. Hello, Co-Create. How are you doing? I hope you're having a good day. We've got the 10 of Pumpkins or 10 of Pentacles in the reverse, the 9 of Lightning or 9 of Swords, and the 2 of Pumpkins or 2 of Pentacles in the reverse. So there's a change up in the family history. There is a crossing out of somebody's name, or there is a crack in the foundation. And the 2 of Pentacles in the reverse indicates some instability, right? Like I said, just like out of the norm and kind of, not following routine, and then things change. All right, let's get a few more from, this is the Golden Lenormand. Good. have? We have number 25, which is the ring, and number 5, which is the tree. So there is a love connection. This feels to me like a family tree and a hidden love connection, or the truth behind a marriage perhaps long ago. You may be finding out what happened to your grandparents or your aunt and uncle, but I do feel like this has an impact to the family tree. Something changed as a result of this situation. Oh, I hope that changes. So you're going to find out the truth about what happened. This is somebody who has access to the information that was withheld from you. And this is that event that changed everything. And I feel like somebody was like kicked out or somebody was blamed because the whip, it's a favorite on this channel. It's about punishment. It's about, I feel like in this situation, it's about banishment. Like, out, be gone with you. And that key could be a reference to the living situation, which keeps coming up for me. So if you're new to my channel, whenever I get the whip, that is when I tell a joke. There's 3 of them that I have in all of the cards that I have. So yeah, it doesn't happen too often, but it's been happening a lot lately. So, all right. The whip. No, not the whip. The whip. No, please, not the whip. The whip. No, please, anything but the whip. Anything? The whip. All right. What else do we have? We're going to go with the situations deck. Let's see. There's a family card in here that could come out. Maybe even the love affair card if we're talking about, someone who maybe stepped out. So we have crickets, roller coaster, and history. Something that happened in the past, and you remember that it was crazy. You remember that people were, freaking out, yelling at each other, or somebody got really emotional and was crying all night. You remember this, but nobody wanted to tell you what actually happened. Nobody wanted to tell you all the details. Why it happened the way it did, or why things changed after that day. When Queen Elizabeth was a child and her mother was executed, she was quite intelligent and reportedly noticed immediately that those around her were no longer referring to her as a royal, and asked something along the lines of, why yesterday was it Your Majesty, or whatever they called her, or, princess or whatever, and yet today you call me Lady Elizabeth. There was picking up, even though she was a young child, that there is something that has happened. Why are you looking at me differently? I was supposed to be the child of the queen or the king, and now you're talking to me like I'm a nobody. I don't know if she was like 7, younger? I can't remember. But young enough to not be expected to have that kind of appreciation. So we've got in the next several weeks information that helps you understand why things happened the way they did. There's someone here with the TikTok card. There's someone who feels like they have to tell you soon. And I don't know why. It could be because somebody is not doing well health-wise and they want you to be able to connect with this person if they haven't passed over. But I do feel like there's like health concerns, or there were health concerns, and you're finding out about this after they've passed. My condolences if that's true. But there's someone who feels you need to know the truth and you need to know it within a certain amount of time. We've got the insatiable card in the reverse. I feel like this is something that you've more or less just kind of let go. I don't think you're out here trying to solve this mystery. We've got magnetic, unexplainable pull, can't resist. But you get pulled to visit or talk to somebody. So you're maybe not necessarily trying to find out more about this thing that happens in the past, but there's something that you can't quite explain that tells you, man, I should probably like go visit my hometown, or I should go hang out with my mom, or I should go, chill with my sister. There's something that you can't quite understand, like what the catalyst was, but you feel pulled to do something. Um, the title of my thumbnail is Should I Call Them? Some of you is just making a phone call to somebody. Hello, White Rabbit. How are you doing? Wouldn't you like to know? Of course not. Come on. This is the Love Oracle. And I feel like this is going to be more about the energy between the people long ago when this like kind of traumatic or big change happened. Exhaustion, depletion, drained, long journey, elusive, dishonesty, deception, trickery, conflicted decisions, hot and cold, multiple choices, and ecstasy, chasing thrills, excitement, good time. So we had somebody that took a long journey. You may have been on that long journey as well, or it could have been maybe the hermit. But there was secrets, deception around this trip or this visit, this vacation, and a decision that had to be made. I feel like somebody was doing something irresponsible, partying or chasing somebody they were attracted to. There's concerns in terms of why somebody was doing what they were doing, why they went where they went, or why they got back so late. There are a lot of little details, and I feel like maybe even some that nobody knows at this point. So we have an apology. You could be getting a letter or a note from this person, and they want to apologize for lying to you about what happened so long ago. You could be getting an apology from somebody who didn't tell you they knew it was a lie, but had not been the one to lie to you, like a sibling. But I do feel this is at first kind of difficult to deal with. You may feel some guilt, but then it also helps you to understand that somebody you didn't think cared about you actually did care about you. And that's worth something. All right, this is the Bianco Nero. What else do we have? Yeah, omission may not be classified as a lie, but depends on who you ask, I suppose. Knight of Pentacles, Two of Cups in the reverse, and the Ten of Wands. So it's been a long time since this breakup, since this falling out, since this fracture in a family. And with the Ten of Wands, there's somebody who is feeling like the burden of truth, or like the fact that they know something and you don't know it, is problematic. Ace of Swords in the reverse. Two of Swords. Temperance. You were told something that wasn't true, or nobody wanted you to know actually what happened, but there's circumstances now that make me feel like I need to tell you what really did happen back then. This could be that somebody else's health issues in the past could impact you if you're related to them, obviously. This could be pertaining to inheritance or, letting you know what the real family history was because of changes in who's around. But this temperance is underscoring the idea that things need to be made right. I know that there's something else that needs to be shared with whoever you are. This temperance, again, another reference to two sides of the story for me, right? You've gotten one side of the story. You maybe didn't get a very clear picture of the story, but when you get this other person's side of the story, then you get a more complete understanding of what actually happened, right? Because there's their side, this person's side, and then the truth, right? Somewhere in the middle. But this is going to be something that you considered a loss or a problem, something that altered the course of your life when you were younger. And you may still have some frustrations or some resentment from this. Thank you, Renee. Hello, Voyager. How are you doing? Knight of Cups in the reverse, and another page, Page of Swords. There could be a little bit of like a clandestine affair kind of thing. There could be a poor choice in terms of lifestyle or, partying too hard. Something along those lines. And the family wanted to cover up the truth. There could have been some violence. I'm not going to lie. I don't wish that on anyone. But this is like a group deciding to be a little bit quiet on the details because of, I think, reputation or how things would be seen. This could be very much so centered around making sure somebody looks like a fit parent so the kids don't get taken away. This could be about keeping up appearances because of jobs, family business. Tower in the reverse, King of Pentacles, and the Lovers in the reverse. Some of you are finding out that a parent left not because they fell in love and ran off with somebody else, but because the family told them to leave. I.e., you may have felt abandoned by your parent only to find out that your other parent's family told them they had to get out. There's something here where the outcast or the person you had not seen, this hermit, they are not nearly as responsible or culpable for the situation in your childhood as others would have had you believe. And that's why there's someone who feels like they really do need to make sure that you understand this isn't somebody who decided you weren't important. This isn't somebody who decided you deserve to have like less or they didn't like you, whatever. I feel like there's a patriarch or a matriarch or like a family decision, and that reframed the story about what actually happened. All right. This is the Tarot Familiars. What else do we have? Four of Pentacles, Wheel of Fortune in the reverse, and the Chariot. Somebody has kept a secret for a long time about the loss that happened in your childhood when somebody left. Knight of Wands, Eight of Cups, making it seem like it was for one reason when it was really for a different reason. I feel like the family was trying to protect themselves. Five of Swords. So they chose a scapegoat, or they chose to let somebody else take all the blame. I'm really focused on the positioning of these two swords. It's kind of unusual. Most of the time with the Two of Swords, you're going to have kind of like an X with, the arms and the swords. And other times they're straight up and down, like, parallel. But this almost looks like a hesitant X. Like, I want to make sure that nothing ever happens or nothing ever gets shared, right? Almost like a zip, but it's not fully crossed. It makes me feel like there's somebody here who maybe shouldn't be telling you something or was asked not to tell you something, but they're doing what they think is right and it's telling you. Six of Wands in the reverse. Maybe because there's reason, maybe you've already got some information that makes you question the story that was told to you. The DNA database that everybody seems to love. I'm not going to name it, but like, it's unburying some secrets from families, right? I love that. What's up, Tiana? How are you doing? So, again, with the Ten of Pentacles, another family reference. I do think for some of you, this impacts inheritance. For others of you, this is about how you view the Hermit, because they deserve to have a true, like, you deserve to know who they really were. Seven of Pentacles, Nine of Cups in the reverse, and the Fool in the reverse. Yeah, they tried to make this Hermit look like the problem. Only them. They were the problem. Everybody else is fine. We're good. Make them look selfish or unreliable. This is not for everyone, but for some of you, there is a really offensive lie of telling a child that their parent has passed away when they didn't, or telling the parent that they wanted to like boot out that the kid didn't make it. Clutching my pearls because I cannot imagine. That is not for everyone. But this is absolutely like, here's what I want, and I'm going to tailor the narrative or what I want this kid to think or what I want people at large to think to what will be best for me and mine. King of Wands, singularly focused, Four of Swords. For some of you, there was a risk here that somebody was going to go to jail. For some of you, there's a risk here that, reputations or business would be impacted if the true father was relieved or was revealed. Yeah. So this is a long-held secret that is no longer going to be held. It's going to be freed by somebody who knows what they're talking about. All right. This is the Gypsy Oracle. Just a little. Good luck for midterms. I hope they go well. Cheerfulness in the reverse. Waiting in the reverse. And death in the reverse. Again, with the death in the reverse, making me feel like somebody lied about whether or not someone was alive. Like, what the heck? Is this a movie? You deserve the truth, and somebody agrees, and they feel like they need to tell you what really happened, and bless that person. I don't think you're waiting to hear this because you feel like you have what you need, and you've already just kind of like assessed the situation and probably tried to like dismiss it, not like think about it too much, right? But this is somebody who's going to change how you view a person, change how you view a situation. Misfortune in the reverse. Thief in the reverse and money in the reverse. For some of you, this hermit individual was booted or like kicked out, and you were told it was because they stole something or because they were revealed to be a thief, a criminal. But with money in the reverse, no, they didn't. See, it's the same chair in that picture too. Yeah, I think we've got somebody who didn't fit in with a family. There was a problem that was maybe made to sound worse than it really was, or someone was made to be a villain who really wasn't a villain, accused of taking something they didn't really take or having intentions they didn't really have. Merchant, sorrow in the reverse, and consolation in the reverse. I think this is somebody who was seen as not good enough for somebody's child. You don't make enough money. You don't come from the right family. You aren't right. And they were taken away or kicked out, threatened maybe. Wild. Dang, that would be difficult. Thank you, Renee. Hello, John. How are you doing? Oh, you too. We've got foe. Well, you could say that again. Servant in the reverse. And sighs, Sighs. So we have a rather manipulative, maniacal person. Somebody who wants to control the details. And with servant in the reverse, this is looking like a matriarch. It could be, of course, a patriarch, but we got two ladies on these cards. We got, well, three if you count the size. We've got somebody here who looked at the situation, said, oh, that won't do. All right, that's better. It's like they Adobe Photoshopped life. Like, no, I don't like that. We'll just change this. Edit that. I hate that title. Let's make it sound better. Excellent. Print. Like, that's not how life works. Whatever they edited, whatever they changed or altered, may have lasted for a little while, but now the true ink is coming through. The truth is coming through. Hello, Ducks. How are you doing? Let's get... I feel like we need a few from the Path of Shadows. All right, so we have isolation, venomous garden, and siren. In the solitude's embrace, I found my own echo. I whisper to the shadows, my voice finds no fellow. So I feel someone isolated you or kept you away from someone else or kept you thinking this person was bad when they really weren't. Beauty conceals truth beneath captivating lies. Beware the allure of the dangers that in the shadows hide. This is maybe not going to be easy in terms of finding out the truth. There could be somebody who throws a little bit of a fit if you do find out the truth when you were supposedly not supposed to. Siren, as enchanting as it is, the reflection in the water, it can lure your soul to depths where illusions falter. Be cautious. There's a lot of emotion here. You could be embarking on a bit of an unstable journey, or when you dig up the past, sometimes people get pretty emotional about it. I feel like there's somebody else here who could be very mad at you, even though I don't know that you're really doing that much. I don't feel like you're digging. I feel like somebody's like letting you know you should call them, or you just reach out to like see how someone's doing, and then they tell you this. We've got Black Cat, grace, mystery, and psychic abilities. Some of you are having dreams. Some of you are seeing signs that tell you that you need to ask about this, or even flashbacks. Vampire, in the night's embrace where desires ignite, my hunger keeps consuming all in sight. This is the energy from that situation all those years ago, or all those months ago. I feel like it's years ago. This is something that somebody feels you deserve to know, but it puts a person in a different light. Well, two people. You see the Queen of Cups as not quite as lovey, and the Hermit as somebody that was blamed for something that wasn't their fault. Oh, well, hello, Mr. Frog. Well, Toad, excuse me. He snuck out and I didn't notice. Personal growth, transformation, and letting go. This information helps you to let go of resentment or a difficulty that you've had in a relationship with probably the Hermit, even if they've passed away, because you get the full story. You understand somebody's motivations. And I feel like you find out somebody really did care about you that you were told did not care about you. Andy, I hope you're behaving yourself. You can't handle the truth. All right, I'm going to leave it there. I love you all. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you for the likes and the subscribes, and I hope to see you on the next reading. Doodles.